Veterinarians was available to the public, but that has changed. Following our I-Team investigation, you can now find out more if you try to do a vet check. We first met Marcia Rosenberg after her kitten Pumpkin underwent a spay procedure. The procedure was done by Dr. Stanley Gorlitsky. But Marcia says the common procedure was anything but common for her kitten.
By Friday morning, the site was much more red and bulging. It was very bulging.
It turned out Pumpkin's internal stitches had come undone.
And the bulging was basically her intestines, which had fallen out.
Another doctor operated on Pumpkin, and today she's fine. But Marcia filed a complaint against Dr. Gorlitsky with the South Carolina Vet Board, the agency that regulates veterinarians.
He received what was called a public reprimand, but there's no public notice.
The reprimand from Marcia's case was written in a vet newsletter that's sent out only to other veterinarians, not to the public. Before Marcia's complaint, the Vet Board website showed no disciplinary action against Dr. Gorlitsky. But Dr. Gorlitsky did have disciplinary action in the past. The I-Team found in Ohio his license was suspended after complaints in that state. In our state, the I-Team also tracked down several other complaints against Gorlitsky. After our story on Dr. Gorlitsky aired in November, we started receiving more calls from viewers with concerns about him. Some who also had filed complaints against Gorlitsky, like Gwendolyn Geddes, whose puppy died during a spay procedure. Her complaint was dismissed last year due to a lack of evidence. But the letter the Vet Board wrote her clearly states, your complaint will be placed in our permanent files should additional complaints or related information be received in the future. Following our investigation, she resubmitted her complaint against Gorlitsky and demanded the investigation be reopened. But the Vet Board is not reopening it. They wrote her a letter saying the board does not reopen cases unless there's new information. And remember Jimbo from our reports in November? Dr. Gorlitsky gave him a clean bill of health, and soon after, another vet found he had whipworm, ringworm, and heartworm. Well, just last month, that complaint came before the Vet Board, and it, too, was dismissed. We have made numerous attempts to interview Dr. Gorlitsky during our investigation, and he declined. Just a few hours ago, Dr. Gorlitsky told us by phone he wishes to meet with us. He would not agree to an on-camera interview. We look forward to speaking with him. And we have spoken with the State Vet Board. What does the Vet Board have to say about the way they handle these cases and what changes are being made? Well, tomorrow night, hear from the State Labor Licensing and Regulations Office and the chairman of the South Carolina Vet Board. Trey.
Thank you, Nina. We are looking forward to that report.
For Stanley Gorlitsky. And we discovered his license to practice veterinary medicine had been suspended in Ohio in 1989. Thanks for calling. After our story aired in November, we received phone calls from others who said they, too, had filed complaints against Dr. Stanley Gorlitsky. So, did all of this information combined throw up a red flag for the South Carolina Vet Board?
We don't know their name until they come to a hearing.
The way the system is set up, vets come up as numbers, not a name. In fact, Dr. Dennis Feinberg, the chairman of the State Vet Board, admits we know more about Dr. Gorlitsky than he does.
So if you're asking me specifically, do I know everything that you know? No, I don't, and I can't, just because of what I had alluded to earlier, because I have to be an arm's length distance to be able to be fair and impartial in the case.
The board has to go by the rules the state Supreme Court sets up. The Vet Board is only given the veterinarian's name if the complaint goes to a hearing. And most of the time, complaints don't get to a hearing. In fact, in 1999, the most recent record, of the 40 complaints on record, only one went to a hearing. This is one of the issues pet lover Marcia Rosenberg is fighting. Recently, she went before the local legislative delegation.
I believe that the Vet Board's practices allow incompetent veterinarians to practice in South Carolina.
She wants change to ensure pets are safe and the system's improved. She went through the complaint system after her kitten Pumpkin almost died following a spay procedure by Dr. Gorlitsky. She's never gotten involved in politics before, but she is pushing for change.
My plan as a passionate animal lover is just to proceed. I will find the way. I will do it. I will learn along the way. I might make some mistakes, but it's not going to stop me.
And she already has the attention of some lawmakers.
If we need to change the law to ensure this doesn't happen to other people, we will.
Lawmakers are now looking closely at the system. Representative John Graham Altman is looking into hitting vets in the wallet.
And we've got to change the law so that if you would sue a veterinarian for malpractice, then you could sue for increased damages, your pain and suffering, your loss of companionship with the animal.
Currently, all you might win in a lawsuit is the actual value of the animal. In some cases, that could only be $10 or $20.
And when you put money in the mix, Nina, you get doctors and veterinarians' attention right away.
The state made some changes immediately following our series of reports in November. Jim Knight with Labor Licensing and Regulation.
In the last couple of days, and as of this afternoon, you should be able to go to the Vet Board website and access the final orders of the board going back to July of 2000.
We checked the website, and it has changed. There's now a list of disciplinary actions. And when we clicked on Gorlitsky, the consent order from Marcia's complaint came up.
Also, the state plans to put the rules of procedure online to better explain how the process works and better inform you, the public.
Yes, you have a valid argument. The public has a valid argument that it should be easily accessed by the public, and we're hoping that the improvements we're making to the website are going to make that happen.
Right now, a bill is before the legislature that would change laws dealing with veterinarians. Among other things, it would require the board to publish disciplinary actions in the newspaper and make more information about investigations available to the public. And Marcia Rosenberg hopes if the bill becomes legislation, it will be called the Pumpkin Law, after her kitten, Pumpkin. To see that legislation for yourself or to look up a veterinarian, log on to our website, WCBD.com. Trey, back to you.
Thank you, Nina. It is a lot to think about. Now, something else people are thinking about and more or less talking about, the dramatic turn the weather has taken. A lot of talk about that. Rob's going to be talking about it later, too. He's got his forecast coming up next.
The best quality seafood you can find is now on sale at Harris Teeter. Fresh boneless salmon fillet.